Hello guys, and today I'm going to be restoring for you this vintage Action Man talking commander as promised. I've gone and got you balanced on a step ladder at the minute because I don't have a tripod, so hope you'll bear with me on that. And well, off we go. First thing you're going to need to do when restoring an Action Man is you're going to need to tidy up the hands and the head. So I'll just bring this one for you. First of all, you're going to need a toothbrush, a medium-sized toothbrush, and you just work all of the dust and fluff out of the flock, and then obviously you're going to want to repaint the eyes or eyebrows on. See? In order to do that, the best way is, if you're right-handed, to paint across to the right, and then instead of working to the left with your other hand and making it all skew with, turn the head upside down. I find that makes things so much easier. And there's the head ready. Next thing we're going to need to do is we need to tidy up the hands. These can get very grimy, and it's just a case of some hot soapy water and a bit of elbow grease, and they're ready, because obviously the head and the hands are the most important part of the figure once it's complete. The most difficult part of it, however, is this, the torso with the talking mechanism in it. Now this is how it sounds at the minute. So we need to see how and what has gone wrong with that. Okay, I've already unscrewed it, so I'll do the best I can on camera so we can take a look at how this works. As you can see inside, we have, well, first of all I can see what the problem is myself already, but basically this pin here touches this resonator here, and it basically creates a sound off this little record inside. Now this record's actually, it's quite grimy, quite dirty. I'm going to need to get a bit of lighter fluid on that and give it a wipe over. And also this here, there's a metal piece missing, but I do have a spare one, and I'm going to fit that in a minute. That can actually come off because there's nothing holding it. I'm going to take this apart for you now so you can see with me inside, so just bear with me a second. The housing part should just prise apart. It's all held together by springs, so bear with me. It was quite a hot night as well. Oh, come on. Aha. And now there we have it. Taken apart, we're in. Oops, there we are, you can see we're in. Now I'm going to need to clean this record, and I'm going to need to fit this piece back onto that axle. Okay, and basically what this is all powered by, I'm going to show you now, is when you pull the cord out, it's turned by this rubber fan belt, but the actual power, be careful because there's a spring in here, the actual power is this coil which is dragged around. See? You've got this part on the axle, which is spring, which pushes it up, and then you've got these gears which will all look better in a minute once I've sorted it out. But as I say, the first thing you need to know is that these are the gear pegs here, and they control the speed at which the cord is pulled back into the figure. You see that peg there, and it's also, you know, a little needle. Doing this is actually the most difficult part of restoring any Action Man. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. So as I say, first of all I'm going to clean off this record. Okay, so there isn't any dust or grime in the grooves which make it sound crackly. I'm going to replace this gear here which is absolute toast. And I'm going to be back in a minute. Give me 20 minutes to put this back together and you'll see better what I mean. Just hold on. Okay, I'm back. It took rather longer than 20 minutes to get it all back into position. It took me actually over an hour. I'm going to show you now what it should look like and describe it a bit better now that it is complete. I've glued that missing piece on and repaired this gear here, but that's not the only gear. That only controls the tension of the cord. The actual spring mechanism, the speed is controlled by this other gear here, and now they're all back into place and the piece is all back together again. Oh, also I've gone and replaced the dog tag on the cord because there was a really nasty really nasty little rusty keyring on there if you have a look in the other video, so that's back to normal. Now in theory, once this piece is pressed against this amplifier, we should get some sound. So I'm going to do that now. You hold that in position. Job's a good one. Right, what you need to do next is you need to fit this little piece of metal back over there so that the cord can pass through it and without any fraying. And then I've got to put these 3 screws back in which hold it in place, and then we can consider that most difficult part of the figure repaired. So let me jump cut you again. Okay, now that we've got that fitted back into the compartments and this over here, we need to start reassembling the body. You take the legs, and inside the legs, as you'll see, there's like a ball joint, and this just connects here. And we take the top half of the body, and with a little bit of teasing or should I say brute force, that connects the legs back on. Now we're going to put the arms into the slots next before tightening it all up with a screw. Now these arms are a little bit loose, so what I've done is I've tied some ordinary dental floss around here, and I'm going to fit that inside. It's perfectly invisible, you can't see it, but it will be if I cut the excess off, which I'm going to do. Fit that arm into the side, and the other arm was actually looser, so I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Doesn't want to go, but we'll persevere. Doing this is always so much easier off camera, as I'm sure you'll appreciate. And then this should just fit snugly now without any wobbliness. Whoops. into the other side, and now obviously the legs have come off again, so there we are. And now, as you can see, the arms nice and tight again. So now I need to put the screws back inside, here, 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 and here, and then we can carry on with the rest of the restoration. So just give me a minute to do that. Okay, so now we have the body all back together again. We need to concentrate on fitting the head. In order to do that, you need to remove this neck post from out of here with some tweezers, which I've already done. And then next, if you can see inside, you'll see the peg's just like a little slit. Now, I use elastic to fit the head on, but before that I like to fit a little peg inside there to hold it in position. So I take an ordinary drawing pin and I snip the plastic part off, oops, like so, and then ease that into here, and it should fit quite snugly. You see that? Okay, now move that piece of plastic out of the way and we can move on. The next part, we're going to need some ordinary knicker elastic that you can get from any haberdashery shop. I need to use plenty of this because I just find it's easier to work with. Cut a good piece off. And then basically we need to feed this through the little peg inside there. And the easiest way I find of doing that is to do it making a needle basically. I take some garden wire. This is how I do it anyway. Other people have different ways, and that's fair enough. Oops, we're going to snap. There we are. Now, there's your garden wire. Yeah. Snip a piece off the end, exposing the metal part, and then I gently pierce the elastic and tie this around, creating a needle, and it will also help me guide this through really easily. Now I make this nice and straight, and I make a little barb at the end, like so, and then I just feed it through, down into the action man. Which is always easier off camera. Hold on, another jump cut. Okay, we got it through. Obviously so much easier off camera, but there you go. You basically use this as a needle to guide this through, and you should have something like that now. So the next thing we do is we unravel this little needle that we have made. Pull that, feed this through here, That's that side now through. Pull that out. And do the same with the other side. And again, feed this through. Where am I? That's right. Oops, the other screw fell out. Okay, so basically we now tie this nice and tight. Okay, like so, and then we trim off the excess. And then we simply fit the head on top of the peg, as you can see, perfectly secure. And that there is the figure completed. It's also in working order now. We now need to dress him, so I'm going to move all this other stuff out of the way and we'll concentrate on that last final part. Okay, there are several pieces you're going to need to complete the Talking Commander figure. You're going to need one standard pair of black short boots, one pair of camouflage trousers, one British Army olive green pullover, one pair of binoculars, one olive green scarf, and most importantly, this is quite the hardest part to find, is the belt with the Colt 45 in the holster and the red lanyard. Good luck finding that. And finally, a British officer's peaked cap. Make sure that the badge is still on the one that you get as well. So we'll start to dress the figure now. First of all, it's quite easy to begin with, but it does get a bit more difficult. Ooh, we've got a fly in here. A bit more difficult when you get flies around in the kitchen. A bit more difficult as we get to the jumper, because they can pull and snag. So we just dress the figure first. Put the trousers on. Okay, and the boots. Make sure the trousers are over the tops of the boots and not tucked in, like so. We have that part. Now, an awkward part we come to now, and that's getting this on without snagging it on these, the rubber hands and also the flock hair. A little trick of mine is to put a bit of cling film over those areas. So bear with me, I shall get some cling film. Obviously obviously you don't need very much. Just enough to cover the head. So that it passes through the jumper smoothly. Ooh, don't fall over. And cover the hands in the same way. The cling film. Now, put the arms up, and you shouldn't, touch wood, have any issues getting him dressed. But I'm going to jump cut it anyway, just in case we do. Okay, so our talking commander's pullover's been put on without any damage. The next part is to put on the scarf. So I'm just going to do that, move that cling film out of the way. Lay the figure on his back. And then just tuck the two flaps. The scarf. Down the front of his jumper. Although this one doesn't want to do it right now. Yeah, it's okay. I'll tidy it up later. Now we put his belt on. Like so. And pop his binoculars over the top. And then we complete him with his cap. There you have it, folks. A completed, fully restored 1984 vintage action man talking commander with eagle eyes. Next video we're going to be restoring the other two 70s figures, but for now there he is, talking commander. See you next time. Please subscribe. Goodbye.